It's Thea Daniels and Raw Interview, where I talk with people that are real, authentic, and willing. This right here is Kendra Levitin. And we've been talking for several years now. I've gotten to know this fabulous lady. Do you see that smile? I hear that laugh. This is the passion that exudes out of her. So Kendra, hi.
Hi.
Thanks for being willing to do this today.
Absolutely.
And so what inspires me about you, what lights up about you, is not only your smile, but when you shared your music and your story. What is it that, what lights you up? What got you started with your passion?
You know, for me, and we were talking about this earlier, it's creating art. So creating something. I'm always creating something, at least one project, all the time. It's just the way my brain is wired. But we were talking about what got me to that part is this growth mindset that I've learned to develop over the years. I didn't know that that's what it was called then, but that's what I'm doing. And the short of it is basically telling yourself a different story about yourself and believing that you have all kinds of capabilities and all kinds of things, that there's nothing or nobody that's telling you you can't. That's all in your head. And so just being able to decide that I want to change something about my life, but also making the work to do that. And once I did that, it opened up this door to music, which is another art form, and this happened about 10 years ago. And once I told myself that I had those capabilities, I started writing songs. Then I learned how to play guitar, and then I learned how to play ukulele, and then harmonica, ...
But she makes videos too.
And making videos. So basically, the different kinds of art kind of changed and morphed and grew, only because, and all because I told myself that I can.
I can.
That's the short. Yeah, telling yourself that you know you can do it. It's all about just changing your mindset.
You mentioned a little something about your parents.
Yes.
And how you got started with playing music.
So when I was a child, I was always surrounded by music. My mom was always singing. There were record albums all around. My dad exposed me to a lot of music. Arlo Guthrie, Judy Collins, some of my favorites. And my mom got me a little keyboard so I could always sound out. But my parents actually met in Haight, Ashbury in the 60s. Believe it or not, they were there. For the height of it, and they met there, and I'm a product of that.
Yeah.
That could be where all the music came from, but I was exposed to that as an early age, and it kind of seeped in somehow. And I actually never thought I would be able to play an instrument when I was younger, or a teenager, or even a young adult. I never thought that I'd be able to learn an instrument, that I'd be able to write songs. It was just a fantasy. It was a dream that other people did, but I could never do that. And once I went through the process of the growth mindset, and it's not overnight, I made a conscious decision to change, and it took time. And it also took being around people who shared that same growth mindset to just be surrounded by that, instead of negativity and stuff. And once I did that, then I started playing music, and it just kind of opened up that door for me. And then it kind of, things that happened in my childhood kind of came back, and I thought, you know what, I can do this. I'll do it. I'm going to try and do it. And I've been playing guitar for about 10 years. And the part that I didn't tell you, Thea, as I didn't get to, was I made a pact with myself at the time I started that I didn't want to give it up, because I knew if it got too hard, I would just want to give up. So what I did is I made a promise to myself that I would practice my guitar every day, at least a little bit, no time limit, but every day. And I did that for 5 years, and I don't know how many days it was, 2,000, 3,000 days, but I kept a consecutive list just to keep me motivated, even if it's just a few minutes a day. Do it before midnight, and I'll get it, you know, and that was a goal that I set to keep me on track, and also to remind me of always growing and always moving and always, you know, personal growth is huge for me. And the biggest part of that was telling yourself that you can. And like my friend had said at the time, change the story you tell yourself.
That's a fabulous wrap up to all of this. Is there one last thing that you would like to share about you and what lights you up, your passion to us?
So one of the things that came of all of this is that I met my partner, my sweetie. So we've been together 8 years, and it wasn't until I went through this personal transformation and a growth mindset and everything to a point where I was happy with who I was as a person. I really enjoyed my life and where I was, and I wasn't looking for anybody, but because I had reached that part in my life, it just kind of came, and everything kind of came, and now I'm a musician, and now I'm in a band, and I do open mics, and stuff that never would have happened if I hadn't have just taken the leap and decide to make that growth, but also doing the work towards that growth, telling myself that I can. If I don't know what the future holds, and it could be good or bad, why not choose to believe it's good, and everything else kind of came along.
Right? Choose to believe it's good. And she didn't mention she started a new job, too.
I am on Monday.
Yay.
So yay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That was fun.
That's a wrap for today. Cheers.